Hey everybody, so this is Tengu Syncro for the March 2013 format. I was looking at old ban lists because I really hate this format, and I saw Tengu Syncro, and most of the cards are still playable, although it'd be somewhat diminished. I've been playing this quite a bit, and it's been doing really, really well. I was looking up builds online for more current formats, and a lot of people were running cards like Cyber Valley and stuff like that, and I really don't think those decks were built to win or compete with today's meta. So I did a little bit of modifying of my own, and basically the biggest problem that I had was trying to come up with a replacement for Glow Up Bulb. Obviously you can only run 2 Tengu, etc., etc. Most of the synchros are gone that are really good, such as Trishula and Bryonic, but the deck is still really competitive. I've been playing it quite a bit, and it keeps up with windups now. It keeps up with fists. It keeps up with Chaos Dragons. It's still really viable, even with today's meta. So without further ado, let's get to it. First, we're going to start off with, obviously, 4 tokens, because you'll need them. It's plants. You're going to need a lot of tokens, so get at least 4. Now, for the glow up bulb, I decided to go with 3 Naturia Cherries. This card in this deck is really, really, really busted. Set 1 cherries, and they run it over. You special summon 2 more face down. They end their turn. Summon a Tengu, Syncro, Synchro, go off. It's really good in this deck. Helps out with the glow up bulb plays, or not glow up bulb, spore plays too. Make it a level 2. It's just more deck control. Obviously, drawing 2 of them in the same hand or 3 of them sucks, but it happens. You're playing an old deck in a new format. 2 Valor. Valor's still viable now. It's not as good as it was because there aren't as many things that this really critically hits, but when it does, it goes off really, really well. I end up citing this out sometimes, because it's still a 1-for-1 target, and it's still a light target for the BLS. 2 Tengu, because that's all we can play. I really wish the card was still at 3, but Konami thinks differently. Then again, I wish a lot of things that Konami thought differently. 2 Thunder King Ryu, because Thunder King, light target for BLS. This deck does a really good job of just kind of stalling out until you get your BLS. Even if you mill it, you have plays to get it back, etc., etc. It's Thunder King, and it's great. 2 Scrap Dragon, not Scrap Dragon, Debris Dragon. This card really helps speed up the deck a lot. You can make Black Rose in an instant, blow up the field. You can make Stardust, blow up the field. Well, not blow up the field. You can make Stardust and Synchro into Shooting Star. I love this card. There's a reason it's at 2, and that's because it's busted. 2 Tour Guide, because that's all we can play. And the Night Assailant, because that's the Tour Guide engine now. Just what it is. If you draw a Tour Guide, most of the time I end up going Tour Guide, take the Tour Guide from deck, overlay with it. That way I still have a Night Assailant. If I draw it, I can pop monsters. Still decent. Those are also BLS targets, dark. You need them in there. Gores, it's great. It's Gores. Summons tokens. You know what Gores does. 1 Card Trooper, helps for milling. Helps. This deck still has a big problem with Thunder King. If your opponent summons Thunder King, it sucks because he's going to negate your Synchro summons, obviously, and this is a Synchro-based deck. So, Card Trooper, run into the Thunder King, draw 1, still good play. Raikou for milling and destruction. That's really all it's for. It's a light target. Some people were running 2 Card Trooper. I didn't like Card Trooper as much because I liked another light target for BLS. This is also destruction. It just works well. Chaos, because you have a lot of tokens that you can sacrifice, get Chaos on the field. He banishes stuff. This card wins a lot of games. Well, it doesn't really win games, but it turns them around. Spirit Reaper for the stalling, level 3 overlays, doing all sorts of stuff, buying you time. Spore, really busted. I'm glad that this card came back. It helps out Synchros, and this card is amazing. I love Spore. Banish a plant type, special summon Spore, and it adds their levels. No, it's not Glow Up Bulb, but I would even say this might be better than Glow Up Bulb. Plague Spreader. For those instances where you have a Tengu on field, Tengu in hand, that sucks a lot. Summon the Plague Spreader, Synchro for 6, special summon a Tengu from the top of the deck, and then just keep going on and on. Helps out with plays, helps make 6. 6 is a good number. Lone Fire Blossom, because it's Lone Fire Blossom, tribute a plant, and special summon a plant. It's really good. Dandelion, when it leaves the field, get 2 tokens. BLS. And Jinzo. This is a tech that I have. I don't know how I feel about it yet. It has done great things for me, but I also found myself siding it out a lot. I only run 4 traps in this deck. I'm thinking about taking out Jinzo and making it more trap heavy, because I found that once you have bigger monsters, it's harder to protect them because you don't have any back row, and if they start doing things, then it's harder to stop. But for now, I'm running Jinzo. It's a BLS target, and it stops all your stops all traps, so you can just start doing shenanigans on the field. For spells, double space, clear out the back row. Double duality. I like duality because you get to choose. Obviously, with Upstart Goblin, you have to pay, well, your opponent gains 1,000 life points. With duality, that doesn't happen. Yeah, it limits your synchro summon plays for the turn. I've had this hurt me once, but that's because the dude top decked a Reborn, and I had BLS that I potted duality into that I couldn't get. Well, that I couldn't summon. But otherwise, pot duality is putting in a lot of work. Foolish Burial. Summon the Dandelion, get tokens for free. Summon the Debris Dragon, synchro for a ton. Heavy Storm, back row's a thing. Mind Control, really good. You play it, take their monster, synchro summon with it. Creature Swap. This is really fun to use. Just endless pluses you can do with this card if you know how to use it right. Really great. I saw almost none of the Cyber Valley players playing this, and I don't know why. This card's really good. Pot of Avarice, because it's Monster Mash deck. Monster Reborn. 1 for 1. Econ, I'm thinking of upping this to 2 because of how great the tokens are. Sacrifice a token, well, you tribute a token. If you have Formula Synchron on turn, you synchro during their turn, take their monster. Makes your opponent minus, while you plus. It's really great. Scapegoat, because it's Tengu Sycro, Scapegoat is still great in this deck. Have level 1 on field, like the cherries or whatever, and synchro and start going off. And for the traps I mentioned earlier, 2 Call the Haunted, does a lot of shenanigans in this deck. It doesn't clog. I wouldn't run it at 3 though, because it would start to clog. Sometimes this can be, I don't want to call it dead, but you have to wait to use it, and that kind of sucks, but really helps with the Dandelion plays. You can just exploit the crap out of Dandelion tokens with this card. And then the Solemns, because they're the Solemns. Once again, if you could run more than one warning, you would, but you can't. So, it is what it is. And now moving on to the extra deck. 1 Leviathan, 2,500, 3,000. You just run things over with it. Leviair for when you banish a plant type, banish a tuner, and get it back with this. Start synchroing again. Banish Dandelion, use it again. When Plague Spreader banishes itself, you bring it back, use Plague Spreader again. Really great for synchroing. Acid Golem. If I take out Jinzo, I'm probably going to take out Acid Golem. This is an out for difficult scenarios that you need to have just a 3k beat stick on the field. Obviously, you want to have an out in mind, like Creature Swap, Jinzo, or Caius before you summon this, because otherwise it'll burn you, and you can't special summon all this on the field. For the Synchro monsters, from the Synchron, Armory Arm, TG Hyper Librarian at 1. Once again, wish I could run 2. Cataster, Splendid Rose. I like this card a lot. It gets over big monsters. You banish a plant type monster, you get to have the opponent's monsters attack, and then you can attack into it. It's level 6, doesn't require any special things to summon. 2,200 attack, 2,000 defense. You're swinging over almost everything in the game with this. And you can banish another plant type monster in your grave. You can have this card's attack for the turn and have it attack again, so you can deal lots of damage with this card pretty quick. I really like that card in a lot of plant decks. Guy of the Force of Earth. It's a level 6, 2,600 attack. Good for running shit over stuff. Orient Dragon. Because you run Debris Dragon, it's a debris target, and gets rid of Stardust, etc., stuff like that. Black Rose Dragon, a lot of people don't know about it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say a lot of people don't know about his second effect. You can banish a plant type monster to make one of your opponent's monsters in defense mode face up attack position, decrease its attack to 0, and do 2,400 attack. Really, really great. I summon this, and people are usually like, oh, you're blowing up the field. And I'm like, no, I'm using this second effect. And they're like, what? So I don't know if I'm just playing bad kids or what. Stardust Dragon. Scrap Dragon. Because once again, you run Debris Dragon, and he makes all of these. Shooting Star. Because it's Shooting Star, and if you know how to play the deck, you can actually make this pretty easily. And for the 15th card, I found that I can make Quasar quite a bit. And any deck that has the possibility to make Quasar, I'm going to run Quasar because it's a Quasar. Card's stupid good, and it's so good. And if you can make Quasar, make the Quasar. Stupid, stupid good. But that is my March 2013 deck list for Plant Syncro, Tengu Sycro, and thanks a lot for watching.